men are a little confused with gender roles. Yeah, and this is a good one. I did see this, with my ex. Yeah, and I did see this with other men. I mean, like whenever they used to reach out to me for therapy and session, I have seen this. And it's a very strange phenomena. Yeah, and it is because these narcissistic mothers emasculate the boy from an early age, and as a result of which they exhibit a very blurred understanding of gender roles. I mean, traditional specific gender roles. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about weird signs of a man who has been victim of emotional incest by his narcissistic mother, or you can say some of the red flags which women and girls ignore. I was also there, and I also ignored, and I used to think everything is fine. He's just too much in love with his mother because his mother suffered a lot. I used to perceive things that way, but actually the case was that he was a victim of emotional incest, and the mother was a covert narcissist. So yes, we are going to talk about that. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So we know who these narcissistic parents are. Narcissistic parents are very transactional, conditional, and instrumental. Yeah, conversations are very monological with them. It's one way, it's either their way or there is no other way. They are going to make your life hell. Narcissistic parents are entitled individuals. They think that they are the only one that needs and deserves all the attention, admiration in the world, and they know it all. And these individuals lack empathy, so they really fail to recognize your pain, your suffering, your emotional ups and downs. No, that's none of their concern. They bred you for return, and as long as you are able to give them, okay. But the moment you stop giving them what they want out of you, they are going to throw silent treatment, compare you, treat you passive aggressively. They are going to triangulate things. They are going to do all sorts of nasty things with you. And this is basically to pressurize you so that you conform and comply. Pressurize you so that you surrender and submit. That's it. Yeah. So they are going to take help of their flying monkeys, their enablers. They are going to stage things in such a way where you genuinely start feeling that the problem is with you and not them. Yeah, they are good in projecting themselves as the victim. They are forever victim. Yeah, either they are the martyr, hero, or victim. They are never the villain in anyone's story, and they are expert in projecting you as the villain for not listening to them, for not abiding by their rules and demands and conditions. And narcissistic parents are not forgiving. They are very vindictive, and they have a lot of contemptuousness on the inside. So if they see that you're doing things your way, they perceive it as a threat. It's like a red flag, and then they are going to do nasty numbers on you, emotionally blackmail you, do all sorts of things, again to put you back in place and to show who the boss is. Yeah, in the relationship, I'm the mother, I'm the father, I'm the boss. Yeah, so that's how things are with narcissistic parents. Narcissistic mothers are worse than narcissistic fathers, and this is because narcissistic women, narcissistic mothers are expert in projecting themselves as victim. They are all the time ready with their victim card. Yeah, and when you are raised by a narcissistic mother, you are damaged. I shouldn't use the word beyond repair, because I have also worked on myself. I have seen others also working on themselves, but the damage is more compared to if you have a narcissistic father. Well, if you have both of them narcissists, then of course things are beyond repair. But it's always more damaging to have a narcissistic mother compared to a narcissistic father. Yeah, because the emotional abuse is less. Yeah, it's less compared to narcissistic fathers. Narcissistic mothers are vehemently into emotionally abusing their children, and when it's the son, of course son is a special kind of a supply source. Son is someone whom she has groomed to be her pseudo partner, her pseudo husband. So sons are very loved by narcissistic mothers, and it's like a prized possession. I have given birth to a son, and now this son is going to, take revenge, for every mistreatment that I perceived or that I went through. My son is going to teach everyone a very good lesson. My son is going to be my protector, savior, all that, thing. And, in that process, these narcissistic mothers, they emasculate their son, they parentify their son, and they establish emotional incest with their son. And, they really don't care. They really don't care that they are, overstepping boundaries. They really don't care that they are over interfering and micromanaging their son's life. No, all what they are, concerned about is supply. That's it. As long as, I'm getting the supply out of my son, everything is fine. But if he's unable to give me what I want out of him, then, that's a red flag. I need to work hard. I need to manipulate him more. I need to guilt trip him more. I need to shame him more. I need to gaslight him more. And that's it. Basically, son is like a toy, that this narcissistic mother can, instruct to shapeshift into any form. Yeah, now I want you to become my father. Now I want you to become my husband. Now I want you to become my boy toy. Now I want you to become my slave. Now I want you to become my emotional toilet. Now I want you to become my punch bag. Now I want you to become my doormat. And the son is shape-shifting. Poor son has, no other option. Yeah, because that's how he has been trained and conditioned since childhood. Every time he wanted to do things his way, narcissistic mother, withheld love and affection. And that's how she used to get him to comply to all her needs and demand. So, the son has learned all of that, and the son doesn't want to, lose his caregiver, his mother. So, he keeps complying. He's, addicted to the crumbs, and, he constantly seeks her validation and approval to feel alive. Yeah, because his growth was stunted. He was never allowed to develop a sense of self. He was never allowed to get in touch with his agency and develop and evolve his agency. He was never allowed to do all of that. Instead, he was allowed to be the version that served the narcissistic mother. So he was constantly in shape shifting. Let me do this thing this way, let me be this for my mother, and that's it. So the son was basically into rescuing his relationship with his caregiver at the cost of, letting go of his authenticity, at the cost of, not embracing his authenticity, at the cost of losing his own self, his own identity. So, these son, they lose a lot of things. Yeah. Growing up, in narcissistic families, especially when they are raised by narcissistic mothers. Yeah, they are not connected to their own self. They are just there to do anything and everything that pleases the narcissistic mother. Yeah, every time they tried prioritizing their emotions, I mean, these sons, they talked about their emotion and feelings, it was immediately invalidated and gaslit. So she was subtly, training the son to prioritize her emotion and feeling and not prioritize his emotion and feeling. Yeah. So, she trained him that she is important and, he is not important. Yeah. And that's how, things are. So, yes, I mean, these women are, very damaging. I mean, narcissistic mothers, and, they damage their sons to such an extent that it becomes difficult for the son to have a personal life. It becomes difficult to date someone. It becomes difficult for these sons to, have a long-term relationship, because these mothers, they keep, poking their nose into areas where, they are not supposed to. Yeah. They feel entitled. I have given birth to the son, and the son is an extension of me. She fails to, see the son as a separate individual, separate entity with his, uniqueness and autonomy. No, she just thinks that, the son is a part of her, and if she's happy, he will be happy. If she's sad, he will be sad. And he is not allowed to, be happy without her being happy. Yeah, so things are very twisted, very toxic and dysfunctional. Now, coming to the weird signs, that the man, is a victim of emotional incest by his narcissistic mother. And these weird signs are, in a way, red flags, which most of the women and girls ignore, they miss, either because they, grew up in dysfunctional homes, toxic environment. They really, don't know what healthy is. And reasons can be endless. So we end up misunderstanding these things. We end up ignoring the red flags, and we end up thinking that we'll fix everything, we'll manage everything, we'll handle everything, and we'll sort things out and make things work out. Yeah. But after some time, we realize that that's not how things are. Yeah, they are the way they are, and it's very difficult to change them. Yeah, the only thing that you can do is that you can change yourself. Yeah, and change the people around you, but you cannot change you know uh, these adult children, I mean men who are raised by narcissistic mother. So let's dive into the signs. The first sign is overly attached to his mother, struggles to form independent relationships, constantly seeking his mother's approval. So these sons are overly attached, and trust me, you can see. It's not that you cannot see. They are overly attached. They will tell anything and everything to their mother, from the time they woke up, from the time they got into something, they are doing something, they are investing somewhere, they are buying this, they are eating this, they are going to go and report everything to their mother. Yeah, so they are like mama boys. Adult body is there, I mean he's 30, 40, whatever, but he's just like a baby, reporting everything, because that woman is going to get angry. That woman is going to throw rage at him if he doesn't report or does things his way. So you can see this unhealthy attachment with his mother. He's overly attached. He will explain anything and everything. Yeah, he will say, yeah mom, I'm on a date. Yeah, I'm with so and so girl, she has this kind of a background. Yes, I'm on a date. Yeah, I'll tell you more once I reach home. So he's going to report anything and everything, and that's how he has been conditioned and trained. He cannot go on without reporting her. Yeah, so you can see that. But when we also come from dysfunctional homes, toxic environment, when we are dysregulated, we are unable to see these things. We just ignore it. We think that maybe he loves her, she loves him, just a mother son love. But it's more. In a healthy relationship, there are boundaries. Who you fuck with, who you sleep with, where you invest what. I mean, a parent doesn't really need to know all of that. But these narcissistic mothers are like wives to their son. Yeah, their son's first wife. Yeah, and they will micromanage every aspect of their son's life. So these sons are enmeshed in a very unhealthy way with their narcissistic mothers. The other weird sign or the red flag that we often ignore is these men have difficulty setting boundaries. Yeah, they feel guilty, anxious when trying to set even the smallest boundaries with their mother or with any other woman. Yeah, they will feel guilty and anxious to set boundaries. They might end up over explaining themselves to his mother or to other women figure. Yeah, so they become anxious and they feel guilty for setting the smallest boundaries with their mother plus other women. Yeah, so these men have problems setting boundaries. They over explain, and they end up having literally no boundary. Yeah, and it all starts from the mother, and that becomes a part of who they are. And they feel and they believe that I need to explain anything and everything to every woman that I come across. Yeah, it all starts from the mother, and it becomes a habit, and it gets embedded in them. And they tend to feel guilty, they feel anxious whenever you tell them to uphold some kind of boundary, you tell them to have some space and privacy. They feel guilty, they feel bad. Yeah, or what will my mother think, what will that woman think, what will my auntie think? No, I need to explain myself, I need to tell her where I'm going. Yeah, so they are like open book. And it becomes easy for other toxic women and individuals to misuse and abuse them. Plus the mother is of course having a gala time misusing and abusing and exploiting her son. So yes, these men have difficulty setting boundaries. Even the smallest boundaries are like, huge tasks for them. Yeah, they are scared to set boundaries and demand privacy and space. Yeah, and in the end they over explain. Yeah, the other weird sign or the red flag that we often ignore or we miss is that these men are emotionally immature. These men display childlike behavior or tantrums when their needs aren't, immediately met. Yeah. And, they have inability to handle criticism. They react defensively to any form of criticism. Yeah. And they see it as a personal threat and attack. So they are never going to have a open and healthy and clear communication. If you tell them why not do things this way, they are going to perceive it as a threat. Yeah, and then they are going to lash out, they are going to throw tantrums. They don't behave maturely. Mature people talk things out. Mature people listen to you. Mature people say what they have to say, and then they sit and give you space to say what you have to say, and then work things out. With these kids, they are forever trapped in that childlike state. Yeah, childlike psychological state where they start throwing tantrums. They don't act maturely, because they operate from that emotional mind only. Yeah, they don't operate from that wise mind or rational mind. They are operating just the same way how they operated since childhood. Yeah, so these adult children, they are emotionally immature. Yeah, they will never behave like an adult, and you are going to see it as how you spend time with them. You are going to see them that they are all about tantrums and not any mature discussion the way how healthy individuals have. The other weird sign or the red flag that we often ignore or miss is that these boys, I mean these men who are raised by narcissistic mothers, who are victim of emotional incest, are big time into people pleasing. Yeah, they will not hesitate in sacrificing their own needs for others. It all starts from the mother. They are ready to sacrifice anything and everything for the sake of their mother's happiness. And for every other woman, they are ready to sacrifice their own self. Yeah, and even if it is at their own expense. Yeah, they really don't care. And this kind of a trait makes them more vulnerable. Women, some of the toxic women, narcissistic women, tend to use such men. So just treat him the way how he's treated by his mother, and that's it. He's ready to do anything for you. He's ready to burn himself out and do things for you. So these people pleasing tendencies are there in the men who are raised by narcissistic mothers, men who are victim of emotional incest by their narcissistic mothers. Parent pleasers become people pleasers. So they were trained to please their mothers now, and they are into people pleasing all women. Yeah, yeah, and it makes them feel good. Yeah, they get this sense of comfort. Yeah, they feel home when they are people pleasing their mother, of course, plus other women. And this can be very frustrating for the girl who's dating them or the girl who's married to them. Yeah, because you're not at all pleasing me, but you're just pleasing your mother, and you're pleasing every woman that is out there apart from me. Yeah, so it creates further I would say it creates further conflict. It creates more of stress and anxiety in the relationship. The man is ready to do anything for any other woman, but not you. Yeah, and then you start questioning, where do I stand in this relationship? Yeah, am I at all important, or it's just that other women are important and his mother is important. Yeah? The other weird sign or the red flag that we often ignore is that these men who are victim of emotional incest by their narcissistic mother have fear of abandonment. Yeah, so they cling on to relationships, and they do this because they fear that something might go wrong, and the relationship might end abruptly. Yeah, and it all echoes basically the unresolved childhood fears. So this man is into carrying on toxic relationship. This man is carrying on his relationship with his mother, which is completely toxic and dysfunctional. And this man is ready to carry on other toxic relationships. he is not ready to say no or to prioritize himself, because he has been trained to prioritize others. Of course, the first priority is the narcissistic mother, and he's been so disconnected from his own self that he genuinely thinks and believes that I shouldn't prioritize myself, I should prioritize others. Yeah, so these men have this fear of abandonment. They cannot let go of their mother. They cannot imagine or fathom their mother discarding them or abandoning them, or just disowning them. They cannot imagine all of the things. Yeah, and as a result of which these men cling on to toxic dysfunctional relationships as well. Yeah, and you can clearly see it. I mean, when I was with this adult child of narcissistic mother, I mean, who was a victim of emotional incest as well, I could see that he was ready to leave all the toxic men. He was ready to fight with men, but he was not ready to fight with his manipulative toxic mother. He was not ready to isolate himself from other toxic women. Yeah, he felt home. It was like a safe space for him. All these toxic women, toxic connection with toxic women, narcissistic women, he felt good. Yeah, and he never said no to them. He over explained things. There was nothing called boundary. And these women were literally using him like a toy. Yeah, the mother was using him like a toy, sisters were using him like a toy, exploiting him and abusing him financially, emotionally, and he was happy. He felt as if he has purpose. Yeah, and once I had a fight with him, and I told him that, why don't you stop your communication with them for some time and see if things become better between us. And he did listen to me, and he stopped speaking to them for a week. But trust me, things became horrible between us. He started fighting more with me. We started having aggressive arguments, and it was a nightmare. Yeah, and then one fine day he went ahead and spoke to his narcissistic mother, and then she also abused him for not communicating and talking to her for a week, and not babysitting her, and emotionally comforting her for a week. She treated him horribly. She spoke a lot of mean things to him, but this guy felt so good. I was hearing the conversation they were having, and there was a different sense of calmness and tranquility that I could see in him. He was really happy. He felt good, and then somewhere or the other he started behaving well with me as well. Yeah, so as long as he was connected with them, it was okay for him. It was like a life support for him. Yeah, so it gets very difficult to be with such men. You need men who can take on the traditional man role, who can protect you, who has a spine. Yeah, who respects you, who protects you, and who's ready to start a family with you. You don't need a mama's boy. You don't need an adult child whom you have to babysit, and whom you have to please, and be a sex toy, and be an incubator, and be a servant, and be a caretaker or a caregiver for his narcissistic mother. It's very difficult to be with such men. The other weird sign or the red flag that we often ignore is that these men are overly protective of his mother. So they will not stand anything that you say. I mean, in healthy relationships, you criticize. Yeah, your mother is being bitch, your father is being rude, my father is being bad with you, and I am with you. Yeah, that's how things are in healthy relationship. We stand with our partner, and we see things in a rational way, and we don't bring in our personal bias in it. Yeah, we don't let all these emotions and our personal relationship and biasness cloud our judgment. Yeah, we see things the way it is. But with these men, they are overly protective of their narcissistic mothers. Yeah, they will go to any extent to defend his mother, even in situation where she has been clearly harmful, toxic, and bitchy and vile. They will keep defending. No, 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 she is being abusive with you. No, 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 she is being disrespectful. She is being like this because of her backstory. She is being like this because she had a bad childhood. She is being this because you might have, said something. Yeah, so it's quite disturbing, the kind of bond these mother and son shares. So the sons are overly protective of their narcissistic mothers, and this is of course a sign of emotional incest. Yeah, they are enmeshed in a very unhealthy way. Yeah, they are like husband wives. Yeah, they will never defend you, they will never fight for you, but they will never tolerate any kind of criticism related to their narcissistic mother. Yeah, they will not hear things with an open mind. They are going to attack on you. Yeah, and that's a clear sign which we often ignore or misinterpret. Yeah, we often think that maybe he's in love with her, maybe she's gone through bad times and he really honors her and all of it. But with time we get to see things more clearly. Initially, of course, it's all red roses and lilies and all the good stuff. But with time, we get to see that this is a little more. And with time, we get to realize that my boyfriend, my partner, my husband is a victim of emotional incest because he's emotionally married to his mother. Yeah, he's not defending me, he's not fighting for me with his mother, but he's ready to fight with me, for his mother. Yeah, so things are pretty, unhealthy, disgusting, but that's how things are. The other weird sign or the red flag is constantly seeking validation. So these men rely on external validation to feel worthy, never feeling good enough on their own. And of course their primary source of validation is their narcissistic mother, but it becomes a part of their personality. They constantly need validation from others, from you, from others. Yeah, so they will go out of their way and do things only to be validated, because if they don't get validated, they feel that they are not alive, they are dead. Yeah, there is no purpose, they are useless. Yeah, so of course these men are into doing a lot for their mother and seeking their validation, but all what they get is tiny crumbs, and they are you can say instilled with this belief that they are not good enough, and that's how the mothers are able to have them on hook for long. Yeah, because if they are going to give them healthy validation, he might stop doing things. So let me give unhealthy validations. Yeah, you did for me, but you could have done better. Look at their son, he does so much, it's okay. Yeah, so the validation is not healthy, it's not a healthy validation. Yeah, so that validation also has layers of manipulation in it, and as a result of which this kid grows up to be an adult who's hungry for validation. Yeah, validation from friends, validation from wrong people, validation from girlfriend, validation from this. The guy is going to do things for you, and they will want you to validate, even though you are expected to do certain things in a relationship. A wife has certain role to play, a husband has certain role to play, a boyfriend has to do certain things, a girlfriend has to do certain things. You can't keep on validating each other. You can express gratitude, you can say thank you so much for helping me, you have done a lot, thank you so much, I'm really lucky to have someone like you. Yeah, so I mean you get to do this, but you won't be doing this on a regular basis. Yeah, you can't keep on thanking your husband and praising him and telling him how amazing he is for giving you a glass of water. Thanks is fine, but these kids, they want more. Yeah, because they feel that they become invisible, they feel useless, they feel that they are dead if they are not validated. Yeah, so they also develop this extreme hunger and craving for validation, because they were you know uh, not given the healthy validation since childhood. Validation, healthy feedback, all of it was withheld, and that's how these narcissistic parents control their children. The other weird sign or the red flag that we often ignore when we are dealing with victims of emotional incest, I mean men who are victim of emotional incest by their narcissistic mother, is that these men struggle with intimacy. They find it challenging to be emotionally vulnerable in relationships, fearing rejection or betrayal. So they are not going to open up and tell you everything. They are going to withhold things, and they are going to withhold things because they think that what if I tell her this, she might leave me. What if I tell her this, she might judge me, and she might just end this relationship. So they withhold a lot of information, and this is because they really don't want to present themselves as, the way they are. They don't want to, express their vulnerable side in a relationship, and this is because they know what happened when they tried, presenting their vulnerabilities in front of their narcissistic mother. It was used against him. Yeah, so they learn to conceal things, just for the sake of, having that relationship or making things work out, not being alone in the end. They conceal things, they keep shape shifting, just the way how they were shape shifting. They will be shape shifting with you as well. Yeah, they will say everything is fine, and after a couple of days you see them, on their foe, and seeking forgiveness and begging for attention from the narcissistic mother. So these individuals, these adult children of narcissistic mothers, they struggle with intimacy. Intimacy is all about being your vulnerable self in front of your partner, and both, giving you a safe space to be yourself. But with such a conditioning since childhood, you're scared to open up, you're scared to, be yourself. Yeah, because it was never appreciated. You tried doing it, but you were misused, you were guilt tripped and shamed and manipulated. So as a result of which, you learn to shut down, you learn to hide things, you learn to, conceal things, and not, express your, vulnerabilities. Yeah, which might be, of emotional nature. So, and all of it is, because you fear, rejection and betrayal. You don't want to lose the connection. Yeah, but in a healthy relationship, just be yourself. Just, express your vulnerabilities. Tell your partner what you like, what you don't like. Be your authentic self, and the same thing, will be given from the other side. But if you are fearing, being judged or betrayed or rejected, there's a problem with you. You need to work on that. So yes, these men, they don't open up. They hide and conceal things. They might say that, my mother is, very nice, she's very good, she'll see you as a daughter. And then, once you spend time with them, you realize that she's a bitch who's manipulating your man. So, these men struggle with intimacy. Yeah, because they were never given an environment where they could express themselves without, fear of abandonment or fear of being judged or rejected. And the last weird sign or the red flag, that girls or women often ignore, is that these men are a little confused with gender roles. Yeah, and this is a good one. I did see this, with my ex. Yeah, and I did see this with other men. I mean, like, whenever they used to reach out to me for therapy and session, I have seen this, and it's a very strange phenomena. Yeah, and it is because these narcissistic mothers emasculate the boy from an early age, and as a result of which, they exhibit a very blurred understanding of gender roles. I mean, traditional specific gender roles. Yeah, they might look like a man, but somewhere or the other they might express that they should be treated like a princess, like a queen. Not exactly, but the kind of things they want out of you, you might feel that, I mean, who exactly is the woman in the relationship? Who exactly is the girl in the relationship? I mean, he should do things for me. I mean, me as a woman and he as a man, he should do certain things as a man and I should do certain things as a woman. But with them, things are very blurred. Yeah, they might take on a very passive or submissive roles in relationship. Yeah, they might just become like a doormat. Yeah, like a you can say a carpet under your feet. Yeah, they will be like, yeah, I'm ready to do anything and everything. Yeah, whatever you say. And secretly that guy wants to be taken care of. Yeah, secretly that guy wants to be pampered. Secretly that guy wants everything that you want as a woman. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to be in a role where he has to protect you or get you things or take care of your food and shelter. He doesn't want that, because somewhere or the other that child is starving since childhood. Yeah, and as a result of which, they want to be taken care of, yeah, and they don't want to be, the one who protects and takes care, and they want to be taken care of. So, they have, this confused gender role problems, yeah, where they might be a full grown man, muscular, handsome, good looking, tall, dark, handsome types, because you are going to get those vibes, and you are going to feel, things once you spend time with them, I mean more time with them. You will feel that they are just a male version of you. They are just a male version of a princess, daddy's princess, yeah, something like that. But over here, things are different. He's a man, he's a full grown boy, and he wants to be taken care of. He wants to be, babysit. He wants to be treated like a princess, yeah. And then he wants you to take care of his mother, babysit his mother, yeah. So just keep taking care of both of them, yeah. Just because she was unable to take good care of him, now he wants a wife who takes care of him, as well as takes care of the narcissistic mother. So yes, these were 10 weird signs that a man has been a victim of emotional incest by their narcissistic mother. In case if you would like to add in something, you are free to comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.